Hello, once again, this is Antonio, and I'm coming at you with another exciting video. Okay, so in this case, what you're going to see is that dad has one rude lawyer. I'm going to tell you something. If that was a normal, uh, just say civilian in this child support case, that person would have been in a contempt of court. Every time Judge Paige try to speak, you're going to see how this guy just overtalks the judge. And you're going to see in this case how the dad, right, what his lawyer is saying is for the amount of money that they want him to pay, if he start working overtime is going to almost double his funding. And double his funding means his child support is going to skyrocket, right? And then mom is just sitting there all smugged and everything. You're gonna see how she speak to her kids. She didn't even put a microphone on mute. It's just two individuals who probably should never even been together in the first place. But nevertheless, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, subscribe, as we'll be coming to you more videos in the future. And once again, let's dive into the content.
Let's see here.
Thank you for waiting, by the way.
Oh, that's all right. We'll take up file 2016-54534. John Kwasinski and Joyce Anderson, and both are here via Zoom. Mr. Greer's here on behalf of the plaintiff. I do have Ms. Heaven here from friend of the court. Matter was set for hearing on an objection to a support review. Ms. Heaven, do you have an update in the matter?
I do. I conducted a statutory review. I sent out my recommendation. The recommendation would have Mr. Kwasinski paying $1,873 a month for 4 children. I used the information provided by the parties and by their employer, by the plaintiff's employer. I used a year-to-date gross divided by the 45 weeks that was reported by the employer, and I used the defendant's wages for the last employer information.
All right. What's the current support amount? Do you know?
Current support is $1,012 for 4 children.
I don't
right.
think so.
And how'd the matter?
Oh, I'm sorry. The current. I apologize.
And Ms. Heaven, how'd the matter come to your attention?
It was objected by Mr. Greer and his client.
Right, for the objection, but how'd the review at first come to your, how'd that get initiated?
It's a statutory review, a 3-year review.
All right, so one or both parties asked for the review or responded that they wanted the review done?
The children are on public assistance, so we had to do the review.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Greer, your client objected to the recommended amount?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why is that?
Well, the recommended amount is $1,873.
Yep.
And it's based on all of his overtime, all of his bonus, which is a reimbursement for his medical, and all of his sick time. And he's paid $25 an hour times 40 hours. And the amount that the friend of the court used was $91,000 a year. And I think it's closer to 25. I had 52,000 a year is 40 times 25.
So Ms. Evan, what income did you use for Mr. Kwasinski?
His employer reported for 45 weeks, a gross of $78,547.20. Last year, they reported $89,665 for the year.
You know,
So what,
I don't
okay,
know.
that's what they were, hold on. That's what they
Sorry.
reported. What did you actually use for his income?
I used the 78,547 divided by the 45 weeks for a weekly amount times our 4.35.
All right, and then, did that
52. Right?
equate to about 85,000? Was that a consistent amount for the 2 years? If you extrapolated for 52 weeks?
So it'd be $75.92.93 a month. So it'd be $91,115 for the year.
So 91,000 this year, 85,000 last year?
89.6.
Oh, 89,000 last year.
But you're considering his overtime.
Well, support is based on income from which support could be paid. It doesn't differentiate or say that.
Well, I'll tell him to quit working overtime. I mean, he's spending his he's working overtime so he can afford something. Overtime is optional. If he wants to spend his time working instead of sitting in a bar spending money, why should, that matter?
I'm just saying that the support formula doesn't exclude specifically overtime pay.
I understand.
All income from which support could be paid, all available income to both parties. And
So you want him working, because he literally almost doubles his income on overtime and the bonus, which is a reimbursement of his medical for the children.
And he gets credit for the medical of $291 a month.
Sure, he's reimbursed. That's what reimbursement means. He pays
No, I
it.
mean on the calculation, he got credit for it.
so if he
I don't
doubles his
even know if
income,
that's
so under your theory, Mr. Greer, if he doubles his income, then he would make 45,000 without the overtime. 45 plus 45 would be the 90,000 with it. The support obligation for the year is recommended anyway at this point by a friend of the court of 21,600 for the year. So that would still be only half of the increase that he gains by working the overtime.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. What would it be? It's not 45, it's 52. But what would it be at 52,000? What would the support be?
Ms. Evan, do you have that number?
I'm
I
sorry.
don't, but I can look at it.
I mean, I could do it, but I'd have to X out of here, and I don't think anybody wants to lose me.
Hold on, bear with me here. The old calculation is not coming up, and I don't know if it's because we're in the new year. But let me enter it in again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me $25 an hour.
No, madam. Sadie, stop. Close the door and come on. You don't need, well, okay, give me a minute and then you'll brush your teeth. Hold on. In a minute.
Is she talking to me? Yes, ma'am, I will.
No, Zadie, come out. Do not go in the bathroom. Shut the door, please. That's open, not shut. Shut the door. Not right now.
While she's doing that, sir, what's your underlying base pay, your hourly rate?
$25 an hour,
40 hours a week.
40 hours a week is what I'm supposed to work, and if we get overtime, we use it.
And you get, so that's 52. So you get a significant amount of overtime. Is that all optional or is some of it mandatory?
It's optional. If I want to take it, I can. There's only a few guys that work there, so.
And then ma'am, where do you work?
I don't right now.
When is the last that you did work?
I worked for a little while up until this week
Where
at Houseman's Foods.
how much do you make there?
A whole $9.87.
Why'd you stop working there?
She didn't like the way I had, I guess I had an attitude. I have no idea.
How long did you work there?
I only worked there like a month, I'd say.
Where'd you work before that?
I hadn't worked for a while, but before that it was at Grand Oaks. It's a nursing home in Baldwin.
How much did you make there?
Oh goodness, I think I was at like around 16 by the time I stopped working there.
When was that?
Oh goodness, April. I don't remember if it was 20 or 21. How long have I not worked at Grand Oaks?
Why'd you leave that job?
It was COVID related.
Ms. Evan, what income did you use for Ms. Anderson? Oh, you're muted.
So I used 1565, 25 hours.
1565 at 25 hours?
Correct.
Where'd that come from?
That was her 2021 income from Grand Oaks that she provided me with information on. Do you want me to use a different amount?
Well, ma'am, when you worked there, were more hours available? You just didn't work them, or were 25 hours
I
always
was-
available, or what?
I was actually just scheduled for 3 days every 2 weeks, but I quit from other people.
But what?
I picked up a lot of days from other people that either called in or, you know.
And then, sir, do you make time and a half when you work the overtime?
Yes, sir.
So 37.50 an hour?
Yes, sir.
I guess my question was, if we put him in at 25 an hour for 40 hours, we don't give him credit for the insurance that he gets reimbursed for, but from his employer, correct? Because he's purchasing it himself and then his employer reimburses him.
Right, well,
In the beginning, I paid for insurance, and then when insurance kept going up, then my employer said, instead of giving you a raise, I can just reimburse your insurance for it. So that's how that got started. Because the guys where I couldn't afford the insurance.
But the insurance just covers you?
It covers me and all 4 kids.
So I guess a bigger question is, if you're making $90,000 a year, why are the kids on Medicaid? I guess because they qualify because mom's not working?
I don't know. He's working and
Even when I work, they still qualify. Because I don't make enough to support me and 5 kids, no matter what I do.
And I
I guess-
think part of the issue with the amount is he doesn't have any overnights with 2 of the kids, so that plays a big role too.
well, yeah, we'll get to that.
All right, what would you want to say about that? Because that's a big factor.
Well, if he's based at the 52,000, it's going to be a lot different. I mean, we know what she's almost doubled his income because he chose to work overtime.
Well, I get that. What do you want to say about the overnights?
Well, I mean, if he doesn't see the kids, he doesn't see the kids overnight. Put that in the factor.
Well, she did, but that's a big consideration. That's a big part of the formula.
I understand, but so is double income. I'm just trying to get the income down, and then we'll go from there, because the income is a choice of his, how he wants to spend his free time.
All right, well, you said you wanted to address the overnight, so that was why I was giving you that.
Well, I'm sorry then, I misspoke. We agree that he doesn't see 2 of the children, right? Yes.
Is that the older 2 or the younger 2?
The other 2,
The older?
How old are they? Older.
older,
How old are they?
17.
What grade
So,
are they in?
Ms. Evan, what's the in your formula that you had with the 1,800 for 4 kids? What is it for 2 kids when the other 2 drop off in October?
1,100.
It would be $1,110 for 2 children. So putting him in at $25 an hour, mom at $15.65 for 25 hours, no premium adjustment, that would have him paying $1,607 a month for 4 children.
That's without the overtime?
Correct. It's $52,200 a year, $4,350 a month for his income.
But you took out the premium adjustment? Why is that?
Because he pays for it himself and it's reimbursed for his employer, so that was part of his bonus or his income.
Oh, I see.
He's getting reimbursed that $1,298.47 that he pays out every month.
So you took out all of the premium adjustment, which was essentially income, and all of the overtime, and it dropped it to 1,607?
That can't be right.
All right.
That can't be right. How many?
$25 an hour times 40 is $4,350 a month for $52,200 a year.
Yeah,
He has 100 overnights with one of the children. 100 overnights with Isella, 130 overnights with Isaiah, and no overnights with Zariah or Xander. He has no additional children. He lists no deductions of any sort, no union dues, no retirement information, no mandatory deductions.
Mr. Greer, I made all the changes you want me to make.
You did. You did do that. Yeah, look, I guess I mean, if the court is willing to set the income based on that, on the 25 times 40 and then calculating back in, his bonus, I'll run it myself. It is what it is. I mean, I just didn't want him to use overtime to calculate the support. So I can't believe that's all it changes it. But here on this one,
Well, you
Rebecca,
gotta remember, it's been 3 years since it was run, and he was given 102 overnights for all of the kids at that time. So if he lost the overnights for the older two kids, support's been going on for 3 years with him having credit for 102 overnights with both of those kids.
oh. Well, I guess I could say that we're ready, willing, and able to see the kids, but they don't want to.
All right,
So
well, that's an issue for a different day if somebody files a parenting time motion, I guess.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, anything you want to say?
I don't think so.
All right. I go back and forth on overtime. It is, especially when it's optional. And this overtime is optional, and I hate to discourage employees trying to work more to get ahead. And I understand that does affect the child support recommendation when it's used. When it's mandatory, it's a little more clear cut that probably has to be used. When it's optional, I kind of look at it as the court has to make an equitable decision, and presumably if support was set using the overtime, the employee could stop working the optional overtime, and support would have to be rerun. I take that into consideration when considering overtime. The recommendation probably didn't drop as much as Mr. Greer and his client thought it would, taking all of that overtime out, using $52,000 a year for his client instead of $90,000 a year. But I think that has probably as much to do with the overnights with two of the children. Keeping in mind those two are the older two, and they're going to age out here. I don't know, are they seniors or juniors right now?
Juniors.
Juniors. So actually, that's going to go on until June of 2024, with them being part of the calculation, not October of this year, as long as they're in school, living with the custodial parent and in school, on track to graduate. So,
Oh, Sadie.
then
Yeah, you can have it.
using a pretty substantial wage for the defendant, even though she's not actually making that wage at this point, but it's imputed because it's a wage she's established that she's capable of earning. So I guess keeping all that in mind, I think the updated recommendation is appropriate. With the
which one, Your Honor?
The 1,607, the one not using the overtime.
Very well.
Dad, but also imputing mom at a wage that she made a couple years ago, but at least a wage that she established she was capable of earning. So that would be the recommendation that would become an order. Ms. Evan, what was the effective date of that to be?
Effective January 1st.
All right, that'd be effective 1/1/23.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, anything else for today?
No, thank you.
All right, we should be all set. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, we'll take up file 2017-55229. This matter of Dana McCumber and Jeffrey Dandro. Mr. Dandro is here. Ms. McCumber is not. The matter was set for 10 o'clock. It's now about 10 after. And Ms. McCumber has not appeared. It's set for hearing to address support. And that was directed in an order changing custody of one of the children from back in November. Still waiting on front of the court here, so let me well, maybe let's see.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, I already called the case. Ms. Hummel, do you have a recommendation for support at this time?
No, nobody submitted anything to me.
Oh, okay. Sir, did you get the motion in the mail?
Yes, sir. I got it on Wednesday of last week.
All right. So you didn't, I guess, where do you work at this time?
I work for High Quality Exteriors.
What do you do there?
I hang gutter. I put
Oh, okay.
gutter on houses.
How much do you make?
I make between $400 and $500 a week.
Are you hourly or do you get paid by the
I'm
job?
I'm a 1099 worker. I get paid by the job.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
For this company, almost 2 years.
All right. Has that been consistent income then between 400 and 500 a week?
Yes, pretty much.
So between 20 and 25,000 a year or so?
Yes, sir.
$10 an hour is the $400.
Yeah, so the minimum wage is 10.10 now. Sir, you make about minimum wage, I guess?
If you averaged it out, it'd probably be closer to $12 an hour.
All right. Do you have any idea what Ms. McCumber makes? Or where she works?
She does not work that I'm aware of.
Is she disabled or anything like that?
No.
So she's capable of working.
Yeah, I would say she's capable. She hasn't worked since I've known her.
Okay. Not disabled or anything though that would prevent her from working.
No,
All right.
not that I'm aware of.
So you got custody of Braden. She still has custody of, no, Hayden's living with a third party, right? Not even with her.
Yes, she doesn't have any of the kids.
That's right. So as far as you know, none of the kids have been returned to her care at this point?
No, none of them have been.
All right, because we had our hearing, what, about a month ago, a little bit less than a month ago, I guess.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Hayden, if I recall, was placed through a safety plan with a grandparent?
I'm not sure because Hayden's not my son, but Dana's mom told me he was placed with a family member. I believe she said in Kentucky. So he's not even in the state anymore.
Oh, Hayden is not?
Right.
That's right. And then Ian was the other child on the case, and that child is emancipated, right?
Yeah, he's 19. He lives with me as well.
Oh, okay. Do you have any other minor children?
No, just Braden.
You know, Ms. McCumber, how many minor children does she have?
Altogether 5, I believe.
So she's got Braden, Hayden, and then 3 more?
Yeah, she has 3 girls.
Okay.
But the grandmother has guardianship of them.
Yeah, none of them live with her, but yeah, they're still her kid.
Right.
And then Hayden started out on this case, but at some point was he excluded?
Yes, when we got divorced, he was excluded because he's not my son.
Gotcha. Okay, I just wondered. All right, and let's see.
So there's only one child
One
that's
child on
of
this
age or under
case.
a minor.
Yeah. So I guess, was there anything in your judgment, do you recall, sir, about who claims minor children for tax purposes?
No, there was nothing in it about who does that, but
All right, so going forward then with custody, you should claim Braden then if your judgment is silent.
right.
Okay. So your tax returns then would include you and Braden then as exemptions. Anybody else that you claim as a dependent?
No, sir.
Okay. And I guess we don't know with Ms. McCumber, Ms. Hummel, who she claims or.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think
I'm
there's
not
only
sure if she
two
even
other,
does taxes.
there are only two other ones of those children that other children that she has that are minors.
No, all
They're
three
under
girls
18.
are minors and Hayden is also a minor.
Because I don't have Hayden listed, so.
They were all removed from her care. Well, not removed by court order, but there was a safety plan with Department of Health and Human Services and I think Grand Traverse County to have them go reside with other people, for lack of a better term, until she could correct some issues that were brought to the department's attention that were putting the children at risk. She didn't adequately attend to those issues, resulting in a change of custody for Braden. And then the safety plan with the department hasn't been disturbed yet for those other children. They're living with other people.
So she has 4 other minor children then.
Right. As far as the exemptions and all that though go, I don't know. I could only guess who claims who. If they went with grandparent, I think not with a father, so I guess we could maybe assume that she would still claim them as dependents.
Yeah, I would probably put her at single and 1 if the kids are with somebody else so they can claim the kids.
Okay. And then sir, how's Braden insured as far as health insurance goes?
He has Medicaid right now.
Okay. And then he's too old for daycare. So Ms. Hummel, do you have any other information you need out of Mr. Dandro?
Is Mr. Dandro the one that has him on Medicaid?
Did you put him on Medicaid, sir, once he came to your care?
I'm gonna be transferring him to my own case because right now he's on his mother's Medicaid.
Still on his mom's. Yeah, you should get right over there and update that.
Yes,
fill
sir.
out the qualification for benefits. You may be entitled to more. I don't know.
Yeah, I plan on going there after this.
Yeah, I don't believe he's not listed as being active, so he may have been taken off from hers, but he's not listed as being active any kind of assistance at this point.
Okay.
That I see, you would have to check with them to just verify. Because sometimes their system does not talk to our system
Okay.
accurately or up to date. And you don't have any other minor children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am.
So this would have her paying $96 child support, $14 medical support for a total of $110 a month. However, I believe there is a substantial amount of an arrearage owed.
Yes.
by Mr. Dandro to the other party.
All right.
I believe most of that is medical bills from when they were born, as well as arrearages, but
Well, yeah, you're about 6,500 behind. A lot of it's child support.
oh, okay.
There is some medical owed to the state of Michigan. Looks like approximately $4,846.72 approximately is what's owed to her.
Oh, okay.
We only have billing for this child for 15 months. So you're looking at $1,500. Just over 15, about 1,600. Or is it January, March?
So, ironically, your payment to her in arrears, her arrearage guideline would be 120 a month, or 130 maybe, because it's 2%. 2% of 6,500 would be 130, and she's recommended to pay you 110. I guess for the proper credits to be given, I should probably order both.
Yeah, you put in an order last time we were at court for me to pay $100 a month.
100 a month. Okay.
Yes. But if you have to up that, that's fine.
Okay. To a lay person, it probably doesn't make sense to have one person. It would make sense to cancel amounts out, but it's not that easy on the ground for the front of the court to monitor that on a monthly basis. So I guess at this point, I'll leave your payment alone and I'll order her to pay the 110. And then when he emancipates, though, then the obligation for her to pay you obviously would terminate, and then you'd still be paying her the 100 a month.
Right.
Is he
Make sure that when you do, I'm sorry, you want to make sure when you do make the payments that you're very clear as to it's you making the payment, because there is current billing for her to bill. They may put it on as her making the payment instead. So you have to be very clear as to what 4D number. You have a docket number, but there's also a 4D number under which you pay and 4D number under which she would pay. And you have to make sure it goes under the correct 4D number, so that way she doesn't get credit for you making payment.
Okay. Yeah, I think you sent something to me so that when I make a special payment or whatever, it goes straight to that.
Now, just make sure you tell them who you are and that you're paying on your arrears, that you're not making a payment for Dana.
Okay.
All right, we'll make that effective. Let's see. The date of that custody change officially was December 8th, so we'll make it effective December 8th, 2023. Or 2022.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, should be all set. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for all that tuned into that last video. How do you feel about it? Do you think that the lawyer was overbearing, like I said? Do you think Judge Paige should have checked the lawyer once and for all? Because, I have done videos where certain judges, he wouldn't been able to do that, because some judges don't like to be you can't overtalk certain judges, period. Now, Judge Paige, honestly, he treats some men badly, as far as like dads I'm speaking about. So it's good that he did have a lawyer, because Judge Paige don't like to be over when the dad starts speaking. He'll tell him in a second, don't overtalk me. But nevertheless, thank you for all that tuned into this video. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're on the road to 10,000, so don't hesitate to subscribe. And you can support the channel through Cash App or Super Chat. And once again, we'll see you in the next video.